Autumn greetings to you, friends, from the stages of London. The frost is on the pumpkin, as we say back home in the US, and you're listening to Musical Talk, the UK's independent musical theatre podcast. Today, I begin with a quandary. When is a musical an opera? When is an opera a musical? Two questions that we've often posed on this very program. And then when does a musical become a family musical? Or perhaps more interestingly, when does a family musical become a participation family musical? To find out the answer, I went back to my roots today to speak with the creatives from Image Musical Theatre. I had the good fortune of working with Image Musical Theatre back when it was under the helm of Mr. Brian Thresh. I was none other than Baloo the Bear in their original production of The Jungle Book. Couldn't you just imagine it? Well, now under the leadership of Mr. Ian McCracken, the company are currently on the road with a schools and theatre tour of their original musical, Scrooge, of course based on A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Let's go straight to that interview I had with Ian and find out more about Image and this glorious holiday production. But first, let's hear some of the music featuring the cast of Scrooge: Robin Sampson, Aled Reese, Jamie Fillery, and April Lydon.
McCracken. I'm producer and artistic director of Image Musical Theatre, so I make sure the show goes out as best quality and as brilliant as all of our other shows. But this is my first one as producer for the theatre shows, having taken over the company in September, so it's quite important that it keeps the quality that we have been putting out there for the last 25 years.
25 years, has it been that long?
This is our 25th anniversary, our Silver Jubilee, which we talk a little bit about on our website, www.imagemusicaltheatre.co.uk.
Way to get that right in there at the start. Perfect.
Yeah, so everyone can be logging on and having a look.
It's a beautiful new website as well, by the way.
We've just tried to vamp things up. Like I say, the company's been going 25 years and it's built a good reputation over that time. But I just felt it was time to kind of just put a few more bits out there. The website we've redesigned. We're looking at changing certain aspects to the set, one of them being the songboard that the audience gets to sing along with our songs on, just how things are displayed and making it a more comfortable job for the actors as well, because the actors in the shows are amazing. They have so much to do and they do such a good job.
Oh yeah, it's a workout.
Yeah, it's not, as you know,
right? Yeah.
It's not, it's not just about getting up on the stage and performing the show like many actors get to do. They run a workshop with the audience and some of the children that are actually in the show as well, and it's non-stop from start to finish for them, and they do a fantastic job.
Absolutely. Now, we'll get to the participation aspect of the piece in just a second, but can you give us a little bit of the history of the company? We know it's been around for 25 years, but how did it get started? Why did it get started?
Well, it was set up in, this is where I get the date wrong, 1988. Yes, okay. Quick maths in my head there.
I would have been 4 years old at the time, just to put that in perspective for everybody.
I'd have only been about 10, by Brian Thresh, and he set the company up because he trained as an actor and he didn't feel that some of the stuff going out to schools especially was as good quality as it could be, and he started by writing his own stories, but as an English graduate he wanted to do some of the classic novels as well. A few years later he met Robert Hyman, who is our composer and MD, and they started collaborating together, and since then have worked on every single show together.
Right.
And like I say, the idea isn't just to take shows into schools to educate them, but it's also to give them, to introduce them to musical theatre and to theatre, to get them involved and to show to show them how fun it can be.
And so because you want to make it more of an experience for the children, these pieces have become what they call participation musicals. Is that a term that's been coined initially by this company, or has it been around before? Do you know?
Well, as far as I'm aware, I think we're the only company that is truly participatory.
As far as I know as well, yeah.
There's pantomimes out there that get the audience involved in a more crude way, if you like. It's about audiences just shouting things out, and there's no real art behind it. But in our participatory style, which, like I say, as far as I'm aware, is unique to us, it's more about making the audience feel part of the show. It's not just about them joining in at times, it's about them being part of the actual performance.
Right.
There are two aspects to it. Shall I go into the two aspects of them?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we have the audience participation, first of all, which is the entire audience. They will learn 3 or 4 songs that are in the show, 3 or 4 of the chorus numbers in the show, and they're made to feel part of the scene. So it could be the chorus is happening amongst the village, so the audience become the villagers. It could be that there's a crowd somewhere and they become the members of the crowd during that song, and everyone will then join in during the song. So everyone's felt part of it. That fourth wall that happens so much in theatre is kind of destroyed and taken away because we want the audience to be let in. The second part of the participatory aspect is actually having some of the children in the show as well, on the stage, performing with us. They will, during the rehearsal, when the audience are learning the songs, they'll be taken off to the green room or the dressing room of the actors, and they will learn, it could be a line, it could be an action they have to do on stage, but something that involves them on the stage and are quite crucial. Right. For example, Scrooge, Tiny Tim, a very important, integral part of the story, is played by one of the children in the audience. Some of our past shows, the Railway Children, Roberta, the young girl, is played by one of the audience members. Okay. So they're not just put on the stage for the sake of being put on the stage. They are important figures. We make it as easy for them as possible. Obviously, if they've never done stuff like this before, it can be terrifying for them as well. So we try and make it as comfortable, as easy. They won't have huge amounts of lines, but the show can't be done without them. They are integral to the actual performance, and I think that's what makes our shows unique in that sense. And which is why we have audiences coming back time and time again to the theatres that we go to. We have schools booking us time and time again because they like our format. I think one of the most exciting things that we ever hear, especially when we go to schools, is we stress to the teachers that we don't want the children pre-picked before we turn up, and that we pick them out. And so often teachers after the show will turn around and say, we picked a child which they kind of winced at because maybe they're troublemakers, maybe they're quiet, maybe they're bashful, whatever it may be. Yeah. Yet they see them up there, and we've managed to bring something out that they've never seen. They've concentrated where normally their concentration's bad. They've spoken out on stage where normally they sit at the back of the class and are quiet. Right. Yeah. And so they think it's very important, us coming to the schools, because we get the children to do things that they don't normally do, and it's such a good confidence builder.
Absolutely. And that's why I kind of laughed a second ago, because I can remember working for Jungle Book back in 2009 with you guys.
2009, wow.
2009, good chunk of time ago. Right. And obviously we have many moments like that where, like you said, the teachers will wince if you pick a child for any number of reasons, like you just listed. The ones that always stuck out in my mind were perhaps what you would call like a tough kid, or a kid that was the strong, silent type, like a tough boy who doesn't, show any emotion, and then he'll get up there, say his line with such fervor, with such passion, that the teachers will look at him and go, is that the same kid who gives me such a hard time during the day? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's great. And I mean, I've been involved with Image now since 2001. Okay. No, tell a lie, 2003 I've been involved. Again, like yourself as an actor, I've also helped musically direct the show when Robert hasn't been available. Okay. I've directed shows as well, and so my involvement in the company has grown quite a lot. And the more I'm involved, the more I can see how good it is for the children. But not only for the children, actually for the families. Again, at theatres, quite often we'll have grandparents, parents come out with the children, and they'll say to me, "I don't know who enjoyed it most, the kids or us," because we we don't talk down to the kids. We're a children's show, we're a family show, and we don't patronise the children by bringing it down to a low level so they understand it. We know they understand what's going on, and we create a performance that is suitable for the whole family. It's not a children's show, it is a family show.
And it makes it more personal to them,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Because they are engaging in the material, the songs, the individual parts that the children take part in. And it makes it an experience, doesn't it? An experience that's different to something that they would have, even at a pantomime, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Because I would agree. I think the participation elements in the image shows are much more different, much more engaging than what you would get in a pantomime. Not to say that pantomimes...
They have their place, and they have
exactly.
and
it's a
fun,
different kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very different. Again, we've had it said to us from schools that sometimes they worry when they bring in theatre companies, because especially if it is a pantomime type of thing, that they get the children excited, they get them overexcited, and then for the rest of the day the children are kind of hard to work with because they kind of got them into a frenzy. Where our shows aren't about that. Yes, we get the children excited, and yes, the children have fun, but they get excited, like you said, in a more deeper sense. It's about a sense of accomplishment. It's about a sense of being part of something, not just about shouting out and doing silly things. It's all done in a very, very clever way, and it's and I'm so happy that I've been given the opportunity to take over the reins and continue the company in a way that I hope builds it over the next 25 years.
Absolutely. And so you were saying that Image Musical Theatre has always stuck to classic pieces of literature.
Yeah.
And so the one that's going out on the road now to both schools and theatres is...
Tom's Midnight Garden and Stig of the... Oh, sorry, the one going to schools and theatres.
So, exactly,
Sorry.
to schools and theatres, you have A Christmas Carol going out. But tell us briefly about the other two.
Yes, we've got A Christmas Carol going out for schools and theatres, and it goes to theatres all over the UK. But we also have two other companies that tour remotely, so all over the UK to schools in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales and England. And we've got Tom's Midnight Garden and Stig of the Dump, those two shows, which again, great classics, slightly more modern than our other ones. And again, they've been getting such great reviews, such great feedback from the schools.
And both very British pieces as well, am I correct?
Yes,
both
yes.
British authors.
Philippa Pearce for Tom's Midnight Garden and Clive King wrote Stig of the Dump.
Right.
Our other ones go back a lot further, so we have stories by Oscar Wilde, Happy Prince and Selfish Giant, like I mentioned, Railway Children, Pinocchio, Little Princess, and we've got a brand new show going out in January to schools, which is The Sword in the Stone.
That's exciting.
Which is my first time writing for Image. I've written and toured some of my own work before, but this is the first time writing for Image, so quite excited about that.
Exciting, something to look forward to.
Yes, a bit of fighting in it as well, which is always exciting. A bit of sword work.
Yeah, another one of your fortes, isn't it? Stage combat.
Yes, indeed.
Excellent, very exciting. And so now you've got going out on the road also A Christmas Carol by another great British author, of course, Charles Dickens. Yeah. So why was this piece selected for this company and to be a participation musical as well?
It was chosen. This is the third time we've taken the show. Scrooge out, Christmas Carol out, and it's such an iconic piece. I mean, any theatre company that wants to take classic literature into a school and to get children excited about reading and theatre and everything about it, you can't not do Charles Dickens. And A Christmas Carol is such an epic, such an exciting story, and it takes the character of Scrooge on this immense journey, and it shows how you can lead a life and you can change. If you're not happy with what you're doing, you can change, and you can become something better than what you were before. And it gives children good messages. We don't force messages into children. We want them to kind of discover things themselves.
Sure.
But in all of this great literature, there's always great underlying meanings, which are in some cases very subtle, in some cases maybe a little bit more obvious. But it's the the meanings in Scrooge are so important, and it's a great show.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, the thing that struck me from watching this, and the fact that it's been adapted into a participation musical for children and families, A Christmas Carol is so much a part of our folklore, especially for this country, but especially at Christmas time. There's so many wonderful elements to it, because this is a Victorian story, isn't it?
Yeah.
A story that old that still has so much resonance today and still generates so much excitement. How many people cannot go through the Christmas season without at least seeing one adaptation of A Christmas Carol?
There's a lot out there.
There are a lot out there. But people who would normally never, people from our generation, people from the younger generations coming up, couldn't tell you anything about the Victorian era, possibly. No. Especially in the U.S., couldn't tell you anything about that history, that era, that culture. But they can tell you a lot about A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
There's still something about that people cling to during the holiday seasons in terms of its history, in terms of its message.
Exactly. And something I hope children get from our shows and our versions, and again, there's lots of different adaptations and they'd get the same thing, but this is Victorian, and our costumes are beautifully designed and made, and we keep very true to the period as well. And we hope it evokes the children to kind of go out and look at how people used to dress. Look at how they used to speak. There's elements of like the Victorian language in there.
Exactly.
How it may be differed from today, and so there's a lot they can learn from it. And again, it's that way of learning without actually realising they're learning. They're taking in this Victorian set of the Victorian streets and the offices and the houses people used to live in. They've got the costumes there.
All wonderfully designed, by the way.
Beautifully designed by. Costumes by Catherine Penton and sets by Matthew Potter, and they're done in such a way that children can't help but be excited by it. And we hope that teachers will not just have this show in the school, let the children watch it and leave it. We have these shows so teachers can then use it as a platform to do extra work, look at fashions of the day, look at the Victorian period. What did we learn from that? How has life changed? How is poverty different? Poverty being a very strong theme in this show, and there is immense poverty out there still today, but there is a difference to it.
Yes.
And they can look at the comparisons there as well. So there's a lot to take from these shows. It's not just about sitting back, relaxing, enjoying a piece of theatre. It's about so much more.
And the message is brilliant. I mean, the brilliant payoff at the end of Christmas Carol is always to see this mean, crotchety old guy who scares you so much at the beginning because he's so angry, so full of, hate and spite, and then to see that turnaround. I mean, that is the Christmas message.
It is, and it's not just the turnaround. It's when they go to his past and he watches how he was, again, you can just kind of see that, you can see him wincing at how he was back then or making excuses as to why he did what he did. But when in actual fact, he's realising, and for every spirit that visits, that realisation is greater and he knows where he's gone wrong. And as you say, then there's that climax of when he knows he's got to change, and not only does he know he's got to change, he's excited about it. He, like you say, he's a grouch, he's a mean-spirited man, and his face kind of emphasises that. But at the end, he smiles, his excitement, his enjoyment, and it shows that you get out of life what you put into life. And as soon as he starts being more generous, as soon as he starts to feel love, I suppose, it changes him. It changes how he moves, how he talks, everything about him.
So once Christmas Carol finishes, what is going to be the next venture for the company? After you mentioned Sword in the Stone already.
Yeah, so we've got Sword in the Stone that starts in January. So I need to be quick and finish writing that. That starts in January, and we have the final section of the Stig of the Dump tour going out as well. And then a show that means a lot to you, we've got the theatre show of Jungle Book.
Woohoo, yeah.
Going on, which is, again, another classic, great fun, must-see show.
And a good message at the end of that one
And
as well.
And a good message at the end of that
which was one of the great reasons it was so much fun to tour with that particular
Yeah.
show. Excellent. Well, it's been a joy talking to you.
Thank
and
you
we'll
very
look
much.
forward to more good news from the company in the future.
Yeah, well, like I say, keep posted, watch us, look at us on our website, follow us on Twitter. I'm just going to do a little plug if that's okay. So
Go for it.
Twitter is Image Theatre UK, so at Image Theatre UK. Our Facebook is Image Musical Theatre Company. And like I said earlier on, our website is www.imagemusicaltheatre.co.uk. And the website is getting better all the time. Hopefully there'll be games, videos, music and all sorts on there. So keep visiting, keep coming back. And join the site as well.
I'm Robin Sampson, and I'm going to be playing Ebenezer Scrooge.
Excellent. So nice to meet you, Robin. And I just saw a wonderful dress front of the show. It was very, very good, very charming. And you are playing Ebenezer Scrooge.
I am.
This show is all about. How have you been enjoying yourself so far?
It's great. It's great fun. Fantastic character to play. It's a gift. Very hard work here at Image to get it all ready in time, and of course it's always hard work. But Ebenezer Scrooge. Well, everybody's heard of Scrooge. He's iconic. So it's great fun to sort of do a character like that everybody knows. So he's mean. He's a mean man. But what's interesting to me actually about this story is, first of all, that there's a redemption involved, that he goes from being mean and nasty and bad-tempered and horrible to everybody to really learning how to be a human being, actually. And what's even more interesting to me about it is that the way he does that is by being taken back to see his own past.
Yes.
And to see what a hurt person he was and is, to see how lonely he was as a boy, how hard his life was, and I do actually sometimes even cry for real during the rehearsals. Maybe I will in performance, but in the book he weeps, he sobs, and Dickens actually says this several times. He sobbed, he cries and cries and cries, and I think that's his sort of makes him able to see more clearly and to really be able to face and think about what he's done and how he's lived his life. Because, of course, the first ghost makes him look at what life was like for him when he was a boy and when he was a young man and so on, and it moves from how lonely and hurt he was into when he starts treating other people thoughtlessly and then very badly. And then he shows how other people really enjoy themselves at Christmas. And
which is the complete reversal of emotions.
So he goes through this whole process where he's allowed to learn. It's funny, the ghosts don't really teach him as such. They show him things that allow him to learn for himself.
Exactly.
And I love that about this story, and the way that it's been adapted for the stage or for the school hall is perfect, actually. We tell the story in an hour with some lovely songs, and most of the text, or I'd say, I don't know, I haven't counted up, but maybe 50% of the text comes direct from the Dickens. So it's got all that atmosphere, and it's very tightly pulled in. So the tale is told quite fast. It moves from one thing to another, and so I hope that the effect of that is that nobody will ever lose interest, even the youngest of the children that may come and see it, 5 and 6 and 7 year olds. I think they won't lose interest because the story moves so fast.
And lots to look at. Lots of wonderful designs, and like you said, lots of wonderful songs as well. The puppets are really going to win them over.
I hope so.
That's all that cool stuff, and the big characters in general.
I mean, certainly the puppets won me. When I first saw the puppets, I was, really, they took me back, because...
and you work with them really well.
Well. Thank you for that. I love puppets. I love puppetry and mask work and all that kind of stuff. It's something very magical and special about watching it, certainly as a member of the audience, but also about working with it on stage. It's I love it. Yeah.
So you're looking forward to this tour?
Yes, I am looking forward to it. I am also I know that I'm going to have to start going to bed very early.
Yes, yeah.
Because of where I live and where we
Very
meet
regimental.
and where the schools are. I'm going to be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day, Monday to Friday. And that's going to be, you know, I'm getting on a bit now. I'm old enough to play. I'm old enough to play Scrooge, so that means I'm getting on a little bit, and I have to look after myself. So it's early to bed for this person.
I have to say, from experience of doing TIE, that so long as you can regiment your sleep well enough, that the payoff is wonderful. So I hope you have a good time out there on the road, and
thank you
you're
very
doing
much.
an excellent job. You got a good piece under your belt, so congratulations.
Thank you.
My thanks to Ian and Robin for speaking with me. Check out performance dates and more information about Image Musical Theatre and their shows from their website at www.imagemusicaltheatre.co.uk. Scrooge still has many dates left around the UK, so do book your tickets now for this tremendous holiday show before it sells out. I know I will be going to see it. There's this lovely young actress in the piece who just happens to steal my attention every time I see her on stage. I am a bit partial. She is my wife, after all. That would be my wife, April. Break a leg, Ben. Thank you for joining me for this Musical Talk mini-episode, folks. My name is David Herzog. Now you hear me. Now This episode of Musical Talk, presented and edited by David Herzog, copyright Musical Talk 2013, except for the music, where the copyright remains with the original writers.